okay, of understanding who you are, what you do, and how you do it. What I want to do now is I want to go ahead and actually pass it over to Anand, and what he's going to do is actually give us two different viewpoints of slide sense, which I think is really interesting. So just chill out for a little bit. Anand, do you want to go ahead and taking it away? And then we'll do the demo, but we're also going to do the demo first, and then we're going to talk about how does it help a partner make money. Okay, so let's go ahead and start with that.
Thanks, Sherman. What I'll do is first give you a quick overview of the problem that it solves, and then show you how it works, and then talk about what it means for clients and partners. Like I said, over the last 10 years, what we've really been doing is helping people make better business decisions. And there are a couple of things they often say. First is, look, we really want to make sense out of all the data we accumulate, and that these need to be good insights, not just analysis strewn over the place. And not just that, these need to be personalized to each of the audiences that we see. Every person needs to just read what they should understand, not have to sift through all of that information. And it's got to be real time. We cannot afford a lag between when the data is created to when it's consumed. And we want this to be powered by technology. We want this to be powered by AI, not by humans. And in this process, we've consistently seen 5 challenges. One is that any solution that any of our clients use today, they just don't allow the editing of reports once they're created. They say, I've made a mistake somewhere. I've got some context that is not there in the data. For whatever reason, I want to be able to edit it. They say, I find it hard to share my BI tool credentials with an external party, for example, a vendor. I can't let them in, and the data has to go out, and I'm stuck from a distribution perspective. They say that for all that BI tools are supposed to be easy, the skills to create and maintain dashboards, that's really hard to come by. We are comfortable with PowerPoint. We just copy paste stuff back into PowerPoint and edit it. But BI tools, that's tougher. And these reports that we see don't actually give us insight. They are just data dumps. That doesn't help us. And most importantly, they say, we just create one presentation or one dashboard for everyone, creating a version that really customizes it to each person. That's extremely time consuming. Maybe we do it in the few extreme cases where it's important. But all of these challenges have come up consistently with every client that we've met. And this is the challenge that SlideSense effectively takes on. See, what SlideSense does is it automates insights for each person entirely in PowerPoint. And that straight away takes us to a base of 1 billion people that use PowerPoint. For partners specifically, what this means is, in our view, a 10 million 3-year revenue potential at a 70% margin that can help you build recurring revenue as well as your own intellectual property. I'll come back to this, but first I'm going to switch over and show you SlideSense, first by showing you examples of what it can create, and then showing you how we create it. Let me start with an example that we put together for an FMCG, a consumer goods company. They said, we want our board meeting to be run to present our sales data in a way that people can interact with it. So here's what SlideSense created for them. It took the worldwide revenue, broke it up by geography. So there's more sales in the UK than in Japan, than in China. Broke it up by channel, so partners, direct, and stores, and there's a little more sales in partners channel than direct and stores, and then broke it up further by product. And against each one of those categories, it shows how that category is performing. Red, bad performance; green, good performance; amber is kind of okay. And if I look at this, let's say the chunk at the bottom right, product 9 in the stores channel in the UK is not doing so well. Why is that? I can click on product 9. That takes me to another slide where I can see that product 9 is not doing well anywhere. In fact, the sole exception seems to be the partners channel in Japan, where it's doing okay. So why is that? Is that because the partners channel is doing okay in general? So we click on partners and we see the performance of the partners channel. And this allows people to explore the data in real time through what are effectively a series of slides. And these can be edited. So somebody could just go out here and say, well, look, this is, there are just 18 stores out here, and I can put in any other annotation that I want. I could pick one of these elements and color code it or highlight it. I could add any other kind of annotation that I would want. Perhaps I want to explain why it is that the performance is mixed here. All of that can be done directly in PowerPoint. And this is one element of what SlideSense can do, the interactivity and direct raw output that's editable. But the other thing that we find SlideSense do rather well is generate automated insights. Here's an example of an output that an e-commerce vendor was sharing with their vendors. So there were a set of retailers that were selling their products on this e-commerce platform. And what this shows is some of the key metrics as part of a presentation, but also highlights the top things that people should focus their attention on. For example, it shows the customer journey, how many visitors, how many leads, and so on, and some of the metrics. And it says that, for example, the reseller has an add to cart rate of 6.8%. This has not really varied much. It's 6.8% now, and it was 5.6% last month. And you need to focus on improving this add to cart rate. It really hasn't improved. And that's the most important thing you need to take away. And here's another insight for you to take away. Effectively, giving the starting point for any of the BI tool users and any of the vendors, an understanding of what they need to do, which is something that, while it's automatically generated, could easily be edited by the person saying, okay, I will look this particular thing. Yeah, that's not really true. There's a reason why the add to cart rate is low, so they should be doing something else, or just get rid of it and focus on only the important thing. Now, this is being sent to each of the 90 retailers in an automated distribution. So effectively, what SlideSense is doing here is solving each of the 5 problems that we saw earlier. But let me give you a taste of how this comes about. How does SlideSense work? So I'm going to go to the SlideSense website, which is at slidesense.ai. You're welcome to just go out there and try it out. It has an overview of some of the stuff that I'm talking about. But what I'm going to do is click on try it out and pick from one of the bots that we have here. I'm going to choose a generic template, and I'm going to take a bar chart race. You've probably seen some of these visualizations. They're pretty cool. What you can do is pick a data set, and for this particular template, you just click on continue. It generates a presentation by combining a PowerPoint template with data, and I'm going to download it and show you. And then I'm going to show you how you can go about making changes to this kind of a template. So what we have is a dummy template where I have sales data for Q1 of 2019 across the Americas, Asia Pacific, Australia, and Europe. And the next slide shows how that's changed in Q2 and in Q3 and in Q4. And you can probably see how it's getting animated as we move along. Now, what if we wanted to make some design changes to this? So let's say I want to introduce my logo here. I want to make some changes to the text. Well, whatever. Let's do that. So we go back here, and instead of this bar chart trace, we'll download the presentation. I'm going to open that. This is a theme that's just editable in PowerPoint. Let's make some simple changes. I'm just going to change this shape color to something in orange. And let's say I want this to be in orange as well. Let's move the whole thing a little bit to the left. Maybe we want to give it a little more space to breathe, and a little more space out here. Some such set of changes. Effectively, design is happening just in PowerPoint. I'm going to save this theme, and let's upload this back here. I'm going to upload this theme, and we'll use the theme that we just uploaded. Now, data works in a similar way. You can connect it to a database, but you can also just use regular Excel and update the data. So what I'll do is change this data set to, let's say, regions being East, West, North, South, and let's assume that this is some random data for Jan, Feb, March, April, and May. Save this, and we'll upload this data set as well. So that gives us a second data set, and this is the data set that I'm going to pick. Let's generate it. And now you saw a preview here, but I'm going to download it, open it in PowerPoint. And yeah, we have the changes that we just implemented.
Oh,
It's
cool.
east, west, north, south, and so on. So what this does is create something that's editable. So if somebody said, you know what, right out here, it wasn't really east, I'm going to rename it to something else. We just have to enable editing on the output and make whatever changes we want. Or well, let's say east just vanished, there's some mistake in the data, so go right ahead, change the numbers, change the text, and this can just go straight to the end user without any additional skills. So that, I hope, gives you a flavor of how SlideSense works. And what I'll do is hand back to Sherman in a second. But this is effectively what solves the primary problems that customers have been challenged
Yeah,
with.
so I mean, I think that's so awesome. I think, to be able to do this, and this is why I want to bring this is like, could we add this to a package that we're going to be maybe taking to market? But from the customer's perspective, can you kind of go over it from a customer's perspective? Why would they be interested, in this, or what's the value proposition, or kind of help me with that, and then maybe we can go into the partner perspective. How would they make money for it?
No, absolutely, Sherman. In fact, I was going to do exactly that. There are three
Okay.
reasons why we see customers take SlideSense. The first is that they just need PowerPoint. No other licenses are required, neither for themselves nor for the end user. Of course, for them, they'd have to purchase license as a package, but otherwise, from a distribution perspective, there's nothing else that's required. And that also lowers the skill barrier. There's nothing new to learn either. The second is the effort that it saves. On SlideSense, it's possible to create thousands of personalized reports in seconds with no additional learning. And the third reason they opt in for SlideSense is because it provides personalized insights, and the visuals, as you saw, are pretty compelling. There's nothing that you can't create and automate in PowerPoint, even though doing it manually is a complete nightmare. In fact, for a specific client, to take a real life example, this was for a media client. We saw that it saved about 45 hours of effort, reducing it down to just 5 minutes. That's a 500x reduction in terms of the effort. And from a team perspective, it reduced a team of 18 people working full time to churn out these reports for each of their media clients down to just one person spending 10% of their time going through these, reviewing, making sure things are okay, and sending it out. That's 180 times less cost. And all of this is with no errors. It completely eliminates the manual process and therefore all of the errors that a human can introduce. And as a result, not only do they have a lesser cost to service, they also had higher customer satisfaction and lower lead time.
That's awesome. That is awesome. I remember at Microsoft, I was a professional PowerPoint creator. And I remember one of my old colleagues, Olga Kuzina, dear friend of mine. I remember when I first started, she's like, "Oh, all we do here is just create PowerPoints. That's all we do at Microsoft. Just create PowerPoints, and go to BI and grab stuff." And I remember that. But I mean, that's a lot of big firms are doing that. So how about the partner perspective? How does a partner win with this? Help us understand that.
Yeah, again, exactly what I was coming to next. For partners, there are four things that this provides. But primarily, the crux of it is it gives you a new profitable revenue stream that you can upsell to clients. One is that it differentiates in a marketplace. See, SlideSense is the only solution that generates editable PowerPoints and also creates insights just in plain English. It's extremely easy to sell. You saw how easy it was to create and edit a template. We also offer, as from the SlideSense team, a one-day proof of concept that you can offer to your clients. What I'll explain this a bit more, but in a sentence, it's the clients say, here are some of my slides, here's some data. Could you show me how this would work on SlideSense? And we can do that in a day. So they get to see the value immediately. What it also does is it offers a good complement to partners' existing offerings because it can upsell to existing BI clients. It can increase the consumption and the value of their tools. But just as importantly, it's also something that can help you capture the knowledge that you have of a domain. So if you understand, let's say, retail really well, healthcare really well, You can create a set of templates and take this as your IP built on PowerPoint and say, all that a client needs to do is fill in their data, they get the reports hyper-personalized, and then that template is yours to resell forever. In terms of opportunity, we see something huge. In just the first year, our calculations show that there's roughly a $20 million opportunity just in the US. And from a partner revenue perspective, there are two paths to this. One, commissions on the subscriptions. That apart, there's also the entire services revenue that you get in implementing SlideSense. So that overall, from a margin perspective, our calculations show a 70% margin on a recurring revenue stream. In terms of what a partner is expected to do and what a partner gets, let me start with what the SlideSense teams offer to partners is. First is that on the initial sale, there's a 40% commission. And on recurring sales, there's a 20% commission. This is over and above any professional services that you as partners would be providing to the client. That's entirely yours. We will also provide the leads that we get on an ad hoc basis from our sales and marketing activity to the partners and provide a marketing development fund, which will allow qualified sales partners the equivalent of 2.5% of their sales from my side. And finally, we also provide assistance on proof of concepts. So a one-day proof of concept, that's something that you can offer to your clients. That's something that we will support and help you accelerate your sales on. What do we ask? One, that there be someone assigned from a sales perspective, assigned at least 25% working on focused opportunities. Second, someone who can help out technically, do the kind of things that I just did, and perhaps a bit more for converting these engagements and actually implementing them, initially to start with at least 25% of their time to work on pre-sales and the implementation. We ask that both of them be sent for training. The sales training is a one-day training, the technical training is a 3-day training, and that you join us for conducting a joint business plan exercise with leadership from both organizations, and that you match the marketing development fund where we'll put in 2.5% of our sales, of your sales, and you'll put in 2.5% of your sales. So this is the structure of the partnership program. I'd be very happy to discuss more, but what we'd ask as next steps is take a look at the product. We're available for walking you through the details at any point. And then all you do is sign the partnership agreement, complete the training, identify potential customers, and then run campaigns with the POC that we mentioned as an offer to your clients.
That is wonderful. That is really wonderful. I think it's a great opportunity. Now, you might be thinking, well, why do we present this? Why do we pitch this? Well, first and foremost, I went through this. I've spoken, with Anand and Mayank for many months now, kind of going over this. And the way I look at things is a little bit different. Okay, and we're going to put up a link here. We want to be able to, if you're interested, we'll go ahead and get you set up to talk with them. But we want to think creatively. We want to think differently, and presenting a solution like this is different. And thank you everyone for paying attention and kind of asking these questions. I think there's some questions in the thing, and we're going to keep Anand and Mayank here. So if they have any questions, but here's their contact information. If you want to go give them a quick call, but we'll have a link. We'll help you out. No problem. We really want to do this because this might help. So with that being said, and we'll post that again in the chat window.